Hey guys, Scott here, and now after having played the Skull Merchant for a few hours at least, I want to go over my thoughts on her, and unfortunately it does seem like she's pretty much a complete failure in like every regard. She is not fun to play as, she's not fun to play against. Her aesthetic, in my opinion, is kind of lame. Her Mori is really lame. Her chase theme is literally a 1.6 second loop made in like FL Studio. It is overall, it just seems like pretty, I don't know, low effort, I guess is the best way to describe it. And I want to go over the most effective build I found with her and why I'm really concerned, because I think this is what most people are going to do, because she has basically no chase power. Let me go over what she can do in a chase. So she's basically like Knight, but worse, where you can go into a loop and you can set up a drone. And then once that drone is active, if the survivor stays in that loop, then they get exposed. And so what survivors will do when they're smart, they'll just simply leave the loop. And then, you'll probably be able to get a hit on them depending on what's connected to them, but you're not going to get the one shot on them. And so the thing is, Knight guarantees a hit if you play in that style. If you're at a loop and there's nothing for them to run to, Knight guarantees a hit. And this killer guarantees an expose if you stay, but at the same time, an expose does not guarantee you a hit. So it's a higher risk and a higher reward. Knight will always get a hit, but this killer, even if you get them exposed, it doesn't mean you're going to hit them. It just means you have the potential to one-shot them. Additionally, once they're already injured, it does nothing. So the chase power is very, very low. The other side effect that it actually has is it makes you undetectable while you're running in it, but the AoE is not so giant that it's useful for more than basically just one loop. Now, there are some add-ons that affect you, and add-ons that affect the survivor as well. There are add-ons that hinder the survivor. There are add-ons that speed you up. There are add-ons that make you break pallets faster, all if you're in an active surveil zone by one of the drones. And those are nice to enhance the chase. And I can see that they tried to make add-ons that are good for the chase and things like that. But the problem is you only have a few drones. And because the drones take so long to activate, like when the guard or when the Knight drops a guard, it's active in like a second or two. To get the exposed effect, it takes 10 seconds. So it's a lot of time wasted, which means you can't really just throw down one at every loop. And also, you have a limited amount of them. So you can at most just hold down 3 or 4 loops and then that's it. And if you're doing that, it means you're not using it for control or information anywhere else. And if you do it like that and you try to play her like a chase killer, it's just basically worse Knight. And that's all it comes down to. In terms of fun, it's just awful for everybody because there's no skill to the power. You just drop it and then run, and then the survivor runs. And for the survivor, there's no counterplay unless they have a connected tile, in which case they're totally fine. Now the killer's useless. And so we have basically the exact same problem that the Knight had. And it's an issue of very low skill ceiling, and skill floor rather, and just not much to really do. And there's only one kind of effective way to counter and both use the power if you're trying to use it as a chase power. But let's say you're not trying to use it as a chase power. And I would imagine the devs did not intend it to be used as a chase power. And I can guess that because you only get a couple of them. Now, like I said, there are perks that enhance your abilities while you're in that active zone, but you pretty much have to have it there already, and you can only cover a couple of loops unless you just keep recycling, the same one over and over again. Additionally, survivors can also dismantle your drones in like a second or two. You have to hit 5 up, down, left, right arrows. It's pretty easy. I wouldn't say you could do it in a chase, so you still have that whole Knight scenario where they're sort of forced to leave the loop if they don't want to get exposed. But if they're injured, like I said, it does nothing. So it's sort of like a Legion scenario where it could be pretty decent if you're healthy, but if you're not healthy, the power is useless in a chase. Other than those add-ons, which have fairly minor effects. But like I said, let's see if you try to control the map. You try to use it for information. And this is why I'm concerned, because I had a theory that the most effective playstyle with her build is going to be a very heavy 3-gen build. And this is without eruption. So I got Scrump, Oink, and Kale, who have thousands and thousands of hours in the game and playing since the game came out, most of them. They knew what I was doing. They knew I was going to do a 3-gen setup. So they brought Circle of Healing, Blast Mine, things like to try to counter that. They basically knew exactly what I was going to do. And I was still able to hold the game for 30 minutes. And they eventually just ran out of shit and then died. And it was incredibly boring for me. It was incredibly boring for everybody. And this killer has add-ons that make your skill checks both smaller and make no sound while you're in the drone's radius when it's active. And so you combine that with things like Unnerving Presence, Overcharge, call a brine, and you suddenly have a scenario where people are failing skill checks left and right. You put your 3 drones at the 3 gens, and you just hold the 3 gen either until survivors give up out of boredom or eventually they just run out of resources. Like I said, this game took 30 minutes, but I was never really in danger of losing. I just stayed at my 3 gen. I never really left the radius of it. I wouldn't take chases that would lose me the 3 gen. And if killers play like this, there's not much you can really do. You're pretty much at the same scenario that the knight has. Except the knight is even more effective at it. So even on the killer side, her most effective strat is still worse than something that the knight can do. The point is, it's going to be very unfun for survivors because this 3 gen strat is just completely obnoxious, and it's still going to be boring for the killer. And she does have add-ons that make skill checks more difficult, which I think will actually add into the misery of going against it if people play like this. And, you know, it's the internet. People optimize the fun out of games very quickly. People will be doing this on day one. It's not exactly rocket science. I'm not unleashing a forbidden build. Controlling a 3 gen with 3 drones that monitor whether or not people are on those gens, it's kind of a no-brainer. And this is where people are going to gravitate and why it's going to be miserable to go against every single time. And it's going to be miserable to play. I was bored this entire game. I'm going to actually just show you the entire video, like continuing on from this point, and you'll just see how they were not able to break it because I always knew where they were. And because of the undetectable nature of when I actually had it active, they couldn't really run early unless they could see me coming from across the map. And so it got me a lot of free hits, and it just led to this incredibly boring, drawn-out game. I can't think of another way to play her successfully. If you're playing her chase-wise with the add-ons for it, it's still super inconsistent. It's very add-on reliant, and still, at the very least, it's still incredibly boring. You know, I always care about the fun aspect, not how strong or weak it is. And it's just so boring for both sides. It's everything that's bad about the knight, but she's weaker than the knight. There's no hidden play styles. There's no intricacies we have to find out over time. She has a very simple power. And the one downside to dismantling her drones is that you get a little tracker on you that just doesn't do anything. You just ignore it. It lets the, killer know where you are. But if they dismantle your drone, they kind of know where you are already. And it'll give you tracking on them for like another 20 seconds or something, but who cares? Most good survivors don't care if you know where they are. They care if you have speed or things that let you catch them, but no one cares if you know where they are. That's why Object of Obsession was such an incredibly strong perk. There is one add-on that makes pallets break when you have that thing attached to you, but you can also take the thing off of you in like 3 seconds, so it doesn't really matter. Overall, she is an incredibly disappointing killer. I won't even be playing her one day. I don't even know what they could do to fix her. It's sort of a complete rework. I mean, it's just they took everything that was bad about the knight and just made it worse somehow. I don't even know how they managed to do that. It's just impressive. I can't think of really anything redeeming about the killer whatsoever. Chapter itself, I think some of the perks are cool. The map redesigns look pretty nice. So everything except the killer seems actually pretty decent, but the killer itself, I heavily recommend you don't buy her. She is not engaging or fun to play. She's not fun to play against. The less people that have her means the less times we'll see her. And I think overall that would be a lot better if we just never saw her because, yeah, she is uninspired, completely unfun, and weak at the same time as being incredibly annoying, which leaves her with only a handful of viable builds, most of which are really obnoxious 3 gens that take hours to finally counter. So, yeah, here is the rest of that game when I was playing against people that knew what I was doing, tried to counter it, and still couldn't do it. Yeah, it's not going to be good, guys. Nope. It's bad even in writing. What is that? What is giving me the heartbeat? Oh, the exposed, because they've been in the AoE, okay. Eventually we're gonna run out of pallets. Yeah, Save the Best for Last would be really nice on this build because I would probably get max stacks by now. You don't commit to any chases ever, but I don't even have to manually activate that. This one I do, though. That means they're not there. Oh, that's where you put the circle of healing. Wait, why did that not reveal you? I've also unfortunately not gotten to use a single pain resonance this whole match. Which is not super common. You have to mute, you can't say the music? Yeah, that's fair. Ugh. Wouldn't be enough, right? Notice the exposed timer? Kinda. How can we make this comp set good? You can't. This is completely unsalvageable. Come on, guys. I said don't bring shit to specifically counter me. How dare you? JK. Repressed Alliance would be way better. Yeah, there's no way to, like, guarantee a hit, though. Because the Knight forces them off the gem, but you can just sort of disable it. It's like Knight, except you can just kill the guard. Music makes your ears bleed? It's pretty bad, yeah. Bounce landing is right. Yeah? There's what? You spilled something? Oh. You spilled your lasagna. Oh no. What an anti-cat thing to do. Oh, Jesus Christ. So everyone here brought perks specifically to counter this 3-gen too. Yeah? Of course. Okay, so no one's on that gen. She's good holding a 3-gen? That's what I'm saying. Like, this seems to be the only thing she can do. And she doesn't even win. She just holds the 3-gen and just holds the game hostage forever. You don't actually win or anything. Yeah. Okay. Oh, wait, this one died. It's an information killer that can't capitalize on their information. Yeah, pretty much. This killer is bad and boring as she looks. Yeah. That's completely regressed. Doesn't say anyone's down here. Why doesn't it say anyone's down here? I just heard it. I can see you. Wait, what? How's that not in range? They were out of range? Oh, okay, okay. I just placed it bad. We need a pretty damn good body block for this. That works. What's the smartest play you could have made? Yeah, I think if you had Say the Best for last on this build, it would be way better. Calm corner. That was a smart play. He was going to go down. He just made it take longer. Hey. First pain resonance. Literally doesn't have to move. Oh, you're talking about Knight. Yeah. Wait, this is supposed to be active. That one doesn't track the gen, though. Okay. Nope, let's kick gen. Lose, please. Nope. I'm doing this on purpose. You're actually getting bored of this gameplay? I know. This is my point. Hey, Europe, thanks for the raid, dude. Appreciate that. This is my entire point. To show how problematic this is going to be. What? Yes. Getting quite a bit of undetectable value? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'm playing like this on purpose, guys. I'm showing how bad the design is. You did the perk. Wait, like you're on Death Hook? Oh, good McLean. The lie, I'm enjoying it. No, this is miserable. Killer's gonna be less played than Twins. And never underestimate how much people like being obnoxious. Okay, so now I have one dead with a 3-gen, so... I mean, you guys just lose at this point. You can't win anymore. Twins is more fun than this killer. Yep. Not kicking the gen? Yeah, we'll go back and kick it now. Might as well kick this one. So you killed that, so shouldn't you have a thing on you now? Okay, I can see you. I can see you. That one just died. Wait, no, it didn't die yet. What did it do? Didn't seem to do anything. I'm so confused. Oh, it activated. Okay. At this point, she seems very map dependent. No, not really. She's 3-gen dependent, and you can 3-gen on basically every map in the game as long as you play the 3-gen from the start. If you'll notice, I didn't chase a single person outside of my 3-gen. I mean, I do because I get it free down, but I didn't chase a single person outside of my 3-gen. That was the most boring match of Dead by Daylight you've ever played? Yep. Enjoy people playing like this when she comes out. You're losing more brain cells the more this match goes on. Sorry, man. I have to prove the point, you know? This is what people are going to do. This is going to be the advertised gameplay. For YouTube vid, though? I mean, yeah. I'd rather have a fun killer, so I would like to play this game. We're gonna have to blood bless this window, unfortunately. No getting around it. Will this work if the survivors get used to it and counter the 3-gen from the start? You can't counter a 3-gen from the start. If the killer doesn't leave the 3-gen, you will always have a 3-gen. People keep making the mistake that it's like the survivors fucking up that results in the 3-gen. So the killer can just choose to never leave the 3-gen at the beginning. That's what I did. I just never left my 3-gen the entire game. It's mostly up to the killer. They did try to break the 3-gen. They did. They absolutely did. They tried doing the problematic gen first. They just couldn't because I didn't leave it. What's this killer's name? Like their single name? I don't know, actually. They didn't even play badly? No. They know how to counter a 3-gen. Like, these guys are not dumb. Good value from that perk. Ooh, almost lost chase there. Her chase is like clouds. It's really bad. 3-gens in danger. I don't think it matters anymore. They still have 3 gens to do. I don't care if they do the gens. Like I said, you can't lose a 3v1. It's impossible. How long has this match been going on? Oh, they broke the 3-gen, but it doesn't matter anymore because the game's over. You got 2 gens to like 70-80%. Yeah, well, you should have played better. 4 potential energies on 1 gen. Yeah, good luck synergizing that shit in solo queue. Is 3-genning a map design issue, not necessarily a killer issue? It's more of a perk issue. It's more of a perk issue. Try to live, Jinsu. Try to live. Extend the match as long as possible. All right. Ugh. Have you seen the trashy Mori? Yes, I have. I should have kicked the gen, you're right. Think she's going to be the most hated killer in DBD? Possibly, because this is the only effective way to play her. Like, Scrump, Oink, and Kale are very good players. They've been playing for many, many, many years. And they know how to counter a 3-gen. They know what I'm going to do. They brought perks to counter it, Circle of Healing, Blast Mine, things like that, and they still were not able to do it.